The lost city of Starlight Dip, in the heart of an untamed jungle, shrouded by thick vines and ancient trees, lay a lost city whispered about in legends. Its name was El Dorado, the city of starlight. No map could lead you there, because the jungle itself seemed to hide it from those who were unmeant to find it. The jungle guarded it fiercely, testing those who dared to seek it out. Only a pure heart and an adventurous soul could navigate the treacherous paths and discover its hidden wonders. Deep within this primeval forest lived a young man named Mateo. Unlike the villagers who feared the jungle, he felt drawn to it. He knew tales of El Dorado from his grandfather, stories of a place where the stars glittered even during the day, and where magic flowed like a river. When Mateo was 12 years old, his grandfather gifted him a compass, one that didn't point to directions, but to one's true purpose. This compass, with its needle of pure starlight, would lead him to El Dorado. But he had to wait until his 21st birthday to use it. On the day of his 21st birthday, Mateo set off into the jungle with his trusty dog, Inti, by his side. Once, a mischievous tribe of monkeys led them astray. But Inti, with his keen sense of smell, guided them back to the right path. The jungle tested Mateo, not only with its physical challenges, but also with illusions. Sometimes he saw mirages of sparkling waterfalls or heard the distant sound of harps trying to lure him off the path. But he pressed on, following the pull of his grandfather's compass, which seemed to grow stronger as he walked. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mateo and Inti stumbled upon a clearing. And there before them stood the lost city of El Dorado, bathed in the soft glow of countless stars. Vines and creepers couldn't hide its magnificence. The buildings shimmered with a rainbow of colors, and the streets were adorned with statues of animals that seemed to come alive. Mateo's grandfather's compass led him to a grand palace made of pure crystal. It welcomed him with open arms, or rather, with open doors. For when he approached, the doors swung open on their own. Inside the palace, Mateo met the guardians of El Dorado. They were beings of pure energy, luminous and kind. They also told him about the starseed, a magical gem at the heart of the city that absorbed the power of the stars. The starseed was dying because the gateway to the star realm was closing, preventing the flow of starlight into the city. Without the power of the stars, El Dorado would fade away, returning to nothing but dust. One of the guardians approached Mateo and handed him a staff that shimmered like captured starlight. "You have been chosen, Mateo," the guardian said, "because your heart is pure and your spirit adventurous. You must journey to the star realm and reopen the gateway so that the starlight can flow back into El Dorado." Mateo knew it was dangerous, but how could he refuse? So he accepted his quest. He ascended a spiral staircase, each step shimmering with celestial energy, until he reached a platform. Above him, the roof of the palace opened up, revealing a swirling vortex of stardust. This was the gateway to the star realm. But before he stepped through, Inti whined and refused to go further. "I'm sorry, boy," Matteo said, stroking Inti's head. "But this is a journey I must take alone." Inti licked Matteo's hand and then disappeared, not into stardust, but into a patch of jungle below. Matteo hesitated. Should he follow his dog or trust the guardians and venture into the unknown? He looked back at the city, then at the gateway. With a deep breath, he stepped through. He found himself in a vast expanse of swirling colors and shapes. Matteo felt as if he were being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Strange, beautiful creatures made of pure starlight flew past him, their laughter echoing in his ears. They were the star children, playful and free, and they loved to welcome adventurers who had pure intentions. Matteo, however, had to focus on his mission. He used his staff to steady himself, and with each move, more stars appeared, guiding him through the chaos. Then, suddenly, everything went silent. The colors faded, and he found himself standing in front of a huge, crystalline. This must be it. The source of the starlight, he thought. But how do I open it? As if reading his mind, a gentle voice echoed around him. "The door will open for you, Matteo, if you can answer my riddle." Startled, Matteo turned to face the speaker, but saw no one. "Who's there?" he called out. "I am the keeper of the starlight," the voice replied, "and I will ask you 3 riddles. Answer them correctly, and the door will open for you. Fail, and you will be lost in the star realm forever." Matteo took a deep breath. "Ask your questions." The first riddle was easy. What has no voice, but can still speak to you? What has no body, but can still touch you? What has no life, but can still guide you? After a moment of thought, Matteo answered, "Is it not the stars?" "Correct," the keeper replied. For the second question, the keeper asked, "What is always hungry, yet must always be fed? What has no hands, yet can still build and break? What has no eyes, yet can still see?" All Matteo pondered. He thought of the jungle that consumed anything left behind by travelers, yet built new life from their discarded things. He also thought of the moon, which had no eyes, yet controlled the tides. "Are these not correct?" he asked hesitantly. "Indeed," said the keeper, "you have passed the second test." Then the third question echoed. "What is always present, yet never here? What can you touch, yet never hold? What can you see, yet never find?" Matteo thought hard. He considered the wind, the laughter of the star children, the very air he breathed. Was it all just there, surrounding him. Yet he could never grasp it. Suddenly, he understood. "Is it not the starlight?" he whispered. There was a long silence. Then the keeper's voice rang out. "You have answered correctly. The door will open for you." The crystalline door slid aside. The most beautiful sight unfolded before Matteo. Inside sat the starseed, a giant crystal that pulsed with the rhythm of the stars. It was surrounded by smaller crystals that sang with a harmonious hum. Matteo stepped closer. As he reached out to touch it, the starseed flared, bathing the chamber in blinding light. When the light subsided, the seed was whole, its facets gleaming with renewed brilliance. The smaller crystals hummed with joy, and the room filled with music that echoed the heartbeat of the universe. Matteo knew his task was complete. He had brought the starlight back to El Dorado. As he turned to leave, the door sealed shut and the room began to fade. He had to hurry. If the guardians sensed his connection to the star realm was breaking, they might banish him to prevent any leakage of starlight into the jungle. So he raced back through the gateway, back to the palace. When he reappeared in El Dorado, the guardians gathered around him, their forms shimmering with new-found energy. "Did you succeed, Matteo?" they asked in unison. Matteo nodded, unable to speak. His eyes shone with the reflected starlight. Then the guardians smiled, their forms becoming more solid as the starlight flowed back into them. "Thank you, Matteo," they said. "You have saved El Dorado." The starseed, brimming with rejuvenated starlight, began emitting beams of pure energy. These beams shot toward the jungle, healing the sick plants and revitalizing the dying trees. Soon, flowers burst into bloom, vines unfurled, and the jungle, once on the brink of decay, became a paradise of vibrant green. As the jungle flourished, a new path opened up before Matteo. The guardians had vanished, leaving him as the guardian of El Dorado. Matteo knew his adventures were just beginning. The jungle, no longer a wild and untamed place, became a sanctuary of peace and magic. And the legend of El Dorado, once whispered only in myths, was now a living reality.